Hello, everyone, and welcome to the start of Art Day 4080. I am Amy Fiddler, and I'm here to introduce the class, talk to you about our objectives, and kick off the semester. So officially, our class is meeting Mondays and Wednesdays at 11:30, but a lot of the class is going to take place in an asynchronous way. Normally, there are two professors team teaching two sections of the class meeting concurrently, but due to enrollment related challenges, you only have me. And so in order to make sure that I can cover enough ground and truly be there to give thorough critiques and portfolio reviews, a lot of the content of the class I'm going to pre-record and have you watch as video-based content in an asynchronous way so that I can be spending the bulk of class time doing critiques and one-on-one work and leading small group critiques. And now that you're seniors, you'll be doing a lot of one-on-one critique work as well in small groups. So I guess that sounds like an oxymoron, one-on-one critiques and small group critiques. So the goal of this class is really to be that gap between your academic experience at BG and to teach you all of the professional practices and things that are needed to go out and work as young professionals and finding that job, transitioning from being a student full-time to outside of school can be a time that under normal circumstances is filled with a lot of anxiety because transitions can be challenging and you're not sure if the decisions you're making are the right ones. And sometimes you have really great options. Sometimes you don't have the options you're hoping for. And so we'll be navigating through that together. And I have taught this class for many, many years. It is a wonderful formula. You will find it challenging in many ways because portfolios are deeply personal and they take a lot of work to prepare, but at the same time, it will be very, very worth it at the end of the class. So the predominant things that I need you to think about now are we're going to start the semester out with a series of exercises that help you define kind of the professional work that you want to be doing and looking at different places, what different companies look like, what different working environments mean, and then from there, sort of determining how you're going to get a job at one of these places that you're interested in working. And, one of the things about so many places having remote workforces right now is that it opens up a lot of opportunities to working in places where maybe you geographically didn't think you could get to, but that would take a chance on you working remotely. So when one door closes, another opens. And I think the name of the game is to really prepare yourselves by having the strongest work you possibly can in your portfolio. And then really pounding the pavement, hitting the proverbial pavement hard is going to give you a lot of leads and at least nothing else build your network. Networking is one of the most dominant ways that people find jobs. So-and-so recommended so-and-so, they met at an AIJ function or they did an internship and so someone can recommend you. So the idea of networking, what that looks like might be a little bit different now, but that still is highly important as well. So being active in local and regional AIJ chapters, online portfolio projects and reviews, meeting people, whatever you can do to build relationships is going to help reinforce your opportunities to find a job when the time comes. So, like I said, we'll start off with a series of exercises. The main assignments that you have due this semester are your portfolio, and you'll do a PDF version of your portfolio, and you'll do a web-based version of your portfolio. And the PDF can be posted on your website and be downloaded or be something that you email, but the PDF is essentially like a book that you're just not printing out. That's different than your web portfolio, which is a truly interactive website that would work on someone's mobile device and on their desktop. And the thing of it is that by the time you get an interview now, most people have looked at your work online. So the online portfolio needs to introduce you, it needs to introduce your work, and it will be speaking on behalf of you before you're even there. So between that and the networking, the personal recommendation, that's generally what's getting you in the door for the interview, not so much the work itself. There's so many talented people. So the portfolios are due, and that kind of is all due at the end of the semester. So that's what we're working on to get you to April. And the big assignment in the middle is working on your self ID. So branding yourself, deciding what language you're using, what visual symbols, all of that. So everything we did in 4030 that you did for another company, now you get the chance to do it for yourself. And this can be one of the hardest branding tasks you ever do because you know yourself so well. It can be hard to be objective. So we'll talk about that in depth when I introduce that assignment, but just giving you an overview of what this semester holds. Um, there will be an AIGA portfolio review day that we'll participate in. There's some digital talks along the way that some will be mandatory, some will be optional. So I'm trying to get opportunities for you to meet professionals, talk with professionals, and get out there as much as possible. And of course, the semester always accumulates in our senior show, which this year will be remote, which is fine. You'll still curate a visual brand for the show, put it together as a class and a team. And last year's turned out amazingly, and the students who jumped into working remotely halfway through the semester and still turned out an awesome senior show, I think have paved a really good roadmap that we can follow again this year, and you can build on their success and make it your own. And from that point, that'll take us all the way through. So you'll be ready to graduate. So that's the overview for the class. Your first thing that I need everyone to do is buy the textbook. It's all on Canvas, and I'll walk through some of that in a little bit more depth tomorrow. But if you haven't purchased the textbooks, get the textbooks and take this opportunity now to get your work ready for your first critique. The very first week of class is all about, first couple of weeks is all about me giving everyone really in-depth portfolio reviews. We're going to look at all your work. We're going to lay it out, metaphorically lay it all out, look at it, decide what's in and what's out, and figure out where the holes are. So if you have a strong desire to be a package designer and there's only one piece of packaging in your portfolio, that's an area you really need to build in order to have a credible portfolio to go out and seek jobs that do that later. Simultaneously, if you hate interactive work and your entire portfolio is digital, people are going to be looking at that digital work and getting really excited about it and not understanding why your portfolio is digital if that's not the kind of work you want to do. So making sure the work's representing your goals, making sure the work is really strong, taking a very heavy editing eye. Not everything that was done in an internship is necessarily portfolio worthy. Looking at some projects that you've already done that maybe need revamped and expanded. A lot of ways to meet your goals and make the portfolios really work for you. So that's it. I'm excited to walk through this semester with all of you. And I guess just the biggest piece of advice I have for this type of climate that you're jumping into is that we don't know what the future is going to hold ever. We know that you're walking into some challenging conditions. By challenging conditions, I mean that the pandemic has reduced a lot of business activity, and so a lot of businesses are not necessarily hiring now in the ways they normally would because they're not worrying about growing right now. They're worried about surviving. However, that being said, there's still a lot of opportunities out there. And the best way that you can prepare yourself to successfully land an opportunity is to do the work, put in the time, and just give yourself the very best opportunity you can to be competitive. I'm not saying this in an anxious way. Slow and steady can win the win the race in this case. So be deliberate, be consistent, make good work, and you'll get there. Okay, can't wait to have a great semester.